CompTIA A Certification Exam Software Troubleshooting. Question 1. Which threat would be used because it gains physical access by following an authorized person through a controlled entrance? Option A, rootkit. Option B, phishing. Option C, a Trojan. Option D, tailgating. The correct answer is option D, tailgating. This threat gains physical access by following an authorized person through a controlled entrance. It exploits courtesy to bypass physical authentication. Shoulder surfing observes information and does not require entering behind another person. Question 2. A user can receive messages but cannot transmit new mail from an email application. Which protocol should be used next? Option A, RDP. Option B, SMB. Option C, UDP. Option D, SMTP. The correct answer is option D, SMTP. The problem is addressed by a protocol that sends outgoing email between clients and mail servers or between mail servers. It handles message submission and relay rather than mailbox retrieval. A test message leaves the outbox after the correct server and authentication settings are configured. Question 3. The support team is evaluating the most appropriate tool, control, or procedure. Which statement explains the value of location services in this task? Option A. It allows compatible devices to download and switch approved carrier profiles digitally. Option B. It provides the voltage and amperage specified by the portable computer manufacturer. Option C. It supplies approved applications with geographic coordinates and movement information. Option D. It supplies direct minus current power when the system is not connected to an outlet. The correct answer is option C. It supplies approved applications with geographic coordinates and movement information. Location services is relevant because it uses GPS, Wi-Fi, cellular, and sensor information to estimate a mobile device position. Cloud synchronization moves data between devices but does not calculate physical location. The application displays an accurate current position after permission and the service are enabled. Stressed about your CompTIA exam? We can take CompTIA exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee a pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 4. A support technician is reviewing several possible solutions. Which consideration most strongly supports using active listening? Option A. It improves understanding and demonstrates that the concern is being taken seriously. Option B. Clear expectations reduce uncertainty and prevent promises the support team cannot keep. Option C. Respectful adaptation improves cooperation and reduces misunderstanding. Option D. Recognizing the disruption helps to escalate the interaction while troubleshooting continues. The correct answer is option A. It improves understanding and demonstrates that the concern is being taken seriously. Active listening shows attention through focused listening, confirmation, and accurate restatement. Interrupting with an immediate solution may miss facts and increase frustration. The user confirms that the technician's summary accurately reflects the problem and impact. Question 5. A user installs a free utility that appears normal but silently creates unauthorized remote access. Which threat should be used next? Option A, rootkit. Option B, sneezing. Option C, phishing. Option D, a Trojan. The correct answer is option D, Trojan. The problem is addressed by a threat that disguises malicious code as a legitimate or desirable program. It depends on deception and does not need to reproduce itself. Analysis shows the installed program performing hidden malicious actions unrelated to its advertised purpose. Question 6. A lab host contains many lightly used guests whose combined configured memory exceeds installed physical memory. Which choice is most appropriate for this situation? Option A, sandbox. Option B, resource overcommitment. Option C, measured service. Option D, shared responsibility model. The correct answer is option B, resource overcommitment. The described need is met by a practice that assigns more virtual capacity than the physical host can provide simultaneously. It can improve utilization when workloads do not all demand their maximum resources at once. Performance remains acceptable until concurrent demand approaches or exceeds physical capacity. Question 7. Which method most directly copies all selected data during each backup operation? Option A, incremental backup. Option B, full backup. Option C, a grandfather minus father minus son rotation. Option D, differential backup. The correct answer is option B, full backup. A suitable method must be able to perform the stated function because it copies all selected data during each backup operation. It provides a self-contained backup set that does not depend on earlier incremental jobs. An incremental backup contains only changes since a previous backup and is not independently complete. Question 8. Which finding best confirms that Clear CMO's settings achieved its intended purpose? Option A. A subsequent test pattern shows continuous lines and all expected colors. Option B. The firmware loads default values and the computer completes startup. Option C. The query returns the expected record or reveals the incorrect resolver response. Option D. The output progresses through local hops and reveals the first point where replies consistently cease. The correct answer is option B. The firmware loads default values and the computer completes startup. The selected procedure returns firmware configuration to defaults when an invalid setting prevents normal startup. It removes problematic custom configuration while preserving the hardware for retesting. Formatting the operating-system drive cannot change pre-boot firmware settings. Are you looking for CompTIA A exam actual questions? Visit our website pokerexams.com to access CompTIA A exam study guide with actual questions and answers. Scan the QR code or click the link in the description to get CompTIA A exam answer key today. Question 9. Which result would verify that DNS is functioning as required? Option A. A lookup returns the expected address for the requested hostname. Option B. Outbound sessions from different private hosts appear through the router public address. Option C. Local hosts reach remote networks through the configured interfaces and routes. Option D. A connected hosts exchange local traffic and the forwarding table learns their addresses. The correct answer is option A. A lookup returns the expected address for the requested hostname. The intended role of DNS is that it translates hostnames into IP addresses and can provide other name-related records. It allows people and applications to use readable names instead of memorizing network addresses. DHCP can supply a resolver address but does not perform the name translation itself. Question 10. Which option identifies the practice that assigns more virtual capacity than the physical host can provide simultaneously? Option A. Public cloud. Option B. A virtual switch. Option C. Resource overcommitment. Option D. Shared responsibility model. The correct answer is option C. Resource overcommitment. The defining function is that the practice assigns more virtual capacity than the physical host can provide simultaneously. It can improve utilization when workloads do not all demand their maximum resources at once. Guaranteed dedicated allocation avoids contention but may leave more hardware idle. Question 11. Which choice names the protocol that keeps email stored on a server while synchronizing folders and message state across clients? Option A. RDP. Option B. IMAP. Option C. UDP. Option D. HTTPS. The correct answer is option B. IMAP. The defining function is that the protocol keeps email stored on a server while synchronizing folders and message state across clients. It supports multi-device access without requiring messages to be removed from the server. POP3 commonly downloads messages and offers less complete server-side synchronization. Question 12. A technician needs a process that removes information from media using a method appropriate to sensitivity and device type. Which option should be selected? Option A. Ticketing system. Option B. Data sanitization. Option C. Rollback plan. Option D. Change request. The correct answer is option B. Data sanitization. The required process is one that removes information from media using a method appropriate to sensitivity and device type. It prevents ordinary recovery and follows policy for reuse, recycling, or destruction. Deleting file icons or performing a quick format may leave recoverable information. Question 13. An employee wants a visible hardware safeguard against accidental camera activation during remote work. Which control most directly meets the stated need? Option A. Biometric authentication. Option B. A screen lock. Option C. Webcam privacy shutter. Option D. Remote wipe. The correct answer is option C. Webcam privacy shutter. The stated requirement depends on a control that physically blocks a built-in camera lens when video capture is not required. It prevents light from reaching the sensor without depending on software settings. The camera image becomes completely obscured while the shutter is closed. Question 14. During a structured troubleshooting session, the technician compares the available choices. Why is Windows settings an appropriate selection? Option A. It lets the technician prepare unallocated storage for operating minus system use. Option B. It organizes common modern configuration tasks in one supported interface. Option C. It targets startup configuration and boot components from the recovery environment. Option D. It can restore image health so later protected minus file repairs have a valid source. The correct answer is option B. It organizes common modern configuration tasks in one supported interface. The important capability of Windows settings is that it provides the modern interface for configuring accounts, devices, networking, privacy, updates, and system options. Event Viewer reports logged events and is not the normal place to change these settings. The new scaling value applies and the update page reports the current state. Question 15. Which result would verify that CHKDSK is functioning as required? Option A. The volume check completes and no longer reports the previously detected file minus system errors. Option B. The terminal displays the expected files and subdirectories. Option C. The output contains only lines that match the search expression. Option D. The dashboard reports the protection components as enabled in current. The correct answer is option A. The volume check completes and no longer reports the previously detected file minus system errors. The intended role of CHKDSK is that it checks a file system and volume for logical errors and selected bad minus sector conditions. It examines storage structures and can repair supported logical inconsistencies. A password reset cannot correct damaged disk metadata. Question 16. A thin workstation needs fast internal storage without a separate data cable or 2.5-inch drive bay. Which choice provides the required capability? Option A. Liquid cooling system. Option B. Motherboard. Option C. M.2 NVMe SSD. Option D. CPU fan. The correct answer is option C. M.2 NVMe SSD. The described need is met by a component that uses a compact card form factor and the PCI Express bus for high-speed solid-state storage. It offers low latency and high throughput through direct PCIe communication. The firmware and operating system detect the drive on the intended M.2 slot at NVMe speeds. Question 17. During a structured troubleshooting session, the technician compares the available choices. Why is respect scope boundaries an appropriate selection? Option A. Professional boundaries protect the technician, customer, and organization from legal and security risk. Option B. Respectful adaptation improves cooperation and reduces misunderstanding. Option C. It encourages details that may not appear in a yes or no response. Option D. The identity verification prevents social engineers from taking over an account through the help desk. The correct answer is option A. Professional boundaries protect the technician, customer, and organization from legal and security risk. The important capability of respect scope boundaries is that it performs only authorized tasks and seeks approval for work beyond the assigned role. Complying merely to satisfy the customer would violate authorization and licensing controls. The request is declined or escalated according to policy while approved alternatives are explained. Question 18. A laptop wireless adapter disappears from active connections after waking from sleep, but Device Manager still detects it. Which procedure is the best fit? Option A. Flush the DNS resolver cache. Option B. Verify the front panel power connector. Option C. Reconnect the SATA data cable. Option D. Disable and re-enable the network adapter. The correct answer is option D. Disable and re-enable the network adapter. The problem is addressed by a procedure that resets a stuck interface without restarting the entire computer. Cycling the interface can reload its operational state and reinitialize network services. The adapter scans for networks and reconnects after it is re-enabled. Stressed about your CompTIA A exam? We can take CompTIA A exam for you remotely and undetected. We always guarantee A pass and payments only after results. To send us an email, scan the code or tap the link in the description and let's get it done. Question 19. The technician must justify the selected approach using the stated requirement. Which consideration distinguishes substitute a known -good Ethernet cable from the alternatives? Option A. Prompt removal by qualified personnel reduces the risk of fire, leakage, and further chassis damage. Option B. It renews the thin conductive layer between the processor package and cooler. Option C. It tests the simplest replaceable physical path before changing network settings. Option D. Each active host on a subnet requires a unique address to avoid conflicting neighbor and forwarding entries. The correct answer is option C. It tests the simplest replaceable physical path before changing network settings. Substitute a known -good Ethernet cable is relevant because it isolates a suspected patch cable failure when a wired device has no link. Editing DNS settings does not repair broken copper conductors. Link indicators return and normal traffic resumes with the verified cable. Question 20. An entry-level technician must select the option that best matches the stated requirement. Which characteristic best justifies selecting clear the browser cache? Option A. It forces the browser to download fresh resources from the site. Option B. Clearing the software queue isolates the issue from the functioning printer hardware. Option C. A compatible driver restores correct communication and page-description handling. Option D. The earlier driver can restore compatibility without replacing the device. The correct answer is option A. It forces the browser to download fresh resources from the site. In this context, clear the browser cache removes stored web content that may be stale or corrupted. Changing the computer name does not refresh locally stored web content. The updated content appears after cached files are removed and the page is reloaded. Question 21. A desktop motherboard network port has failed and the system still has an available expansion slot. Which component should the technician select? Option A. Inkjet print head. Option B. Laser printer imaging drum. Option C. Central processing unit. Option D. Network interface card. The correct answer is option D. Network interface card. The stated requirement depends on a component that provides a computer with a physical or wireless network connection. It supplies the media interface, hardware address, and link functions needed to join a network. The operating system detects the adapter and a valid link appears when the cable is connected. Question 22. Which result would verify that central processing unit is functioning as required? Option A. The application completes processor-bound workloads faster after a compatible upgrade. Option B. A benchmark shows combined throughput from the strike drives. Option C. The repeating marks disappear after the worn image surface is replaced. Option D. Power measurements show efficiency consistent with the certified tier under supported loads. The correct answer is option A. The application completes processor-bound workloads faster after a compatible upgrade. The intended role of central processing unit is that it executes program instructions and performs general-purpose calculations. Its core count, architecture, frequency, and cache influence overall processing performance. Adding storage capacity does not directly increase instruction execution capability. Question 23. Which finding best confirms that hardware security key achieved its intended purpose? Option A. The management report shows the update installed successfully on the targeted endpoints. Option B. A user receives only the approved resource access after authentication and policy checks. Option C. The individual is directed to the visitor process instead of entering without authorization. Option D. Access succeeds with the enrolled key and fails when only the password is entered. The correct answer is option D. Access succeeds with the enrolled key and fails when only the password is entered. The selected control provides a possession-based authentication factor using a dedicated physical token. It proves possession through cryptographic authentication rather than a reusable code alone. A printed password list is not a protected cryptographic factor. Question 24. The proposed solution is being reviewed before implementation. Which property makes safe mode suitable for the requirement? Option A. It centralizes logged events that can reveal service failures, driver errors, and system conditions. Option B. It helps prevent administrative actions under the wrong user or domain identity. Option C. It provides a basic inventory of directory entries and supports detailed display options. Option D. It provides a reduced environment in which the problematic driver or software can be removed. The correct answer is option D. It provides a reduced environment in which the problematic driver or software can be removed. The important capability of safe mode is that it loads Windows with a minimal set of drivers and services for diagnosis. Normal startup loads the same failing components and may reproduce the crash immediately. The system starts with basic drivers and remains stable long enough for corrective work. Question 25. A technician needs a procedure that tests whether corruption is limited to one Windows user environment. Which option should be selected? Option A. Uninstall the recent update. Option B. Disable unnecessary startup items. Option C. Create a new user profile. Option D. Restart the supporting service. The correct answer is option C. Create a new user profile. The required procedure is one that tests whether corruption is limited to one Windows user environment. It separates account minus specific settings from system minus wide problems. Replacing the motherboard is not justified when other users have no issue.